It's the rise and the fall of Miss New Zealand.
By 1980, the New Zealand judges had worked out it was better to pick a winner with fashion model looks. Delyse Nottle was about to put New Zealand on the map in a very competitive year.
Delyse is an absolute iconic legend.
In the 80s, I knew Delyse very well because we worked together just about every season. She was delightful, professional at all times, and one of the most popular young models there was in that era.
Delyse Nottle was the only Miss New Zealand that became an international model. It's not surprising to me. She has that real international beauty.
She was one of the first ones that put us on the map.
Well, Mum used to cuddle me and sit me outside when I was really small, and she always said that I would be Miss New Zealand one day. Miss Mount Maunganui, Miss Tauranga, Miss Bay of Plenty, I won those as well. So it was a good practice ground to go into the bigger contest. Things just took off because, winning the Miss Universe New Zealand contest, you're catapulted into the public eye, and everyone really wants to use you for work because you are not just a pretty face, but you're also a personality as well. My mum, when she was watching, she said that Peter Sinclair, who was the compere at the time, described me as gorgeous, and apparently I was the only one that was described as gorgeous.
She didn't even have to try. She had everything going for her because she had all the looks and the traits of a model, but also had the sparkling personality. So when she competed overseas, she was a surefire winner.
No one has won any major prize in Miss Universe at all at that stage, so you don't even think that you're going to get anywhere. But I did know that the Miss Universe Corp did like me. They liked how I presented myself, they liked how I spoke, they liked how I interacted with people.
She was garnering a lot of press attention in Seoul, Korea that year. I think Miss USA and her were probably the two favorites going into it. I think Miss Sweden was also well liked.
Delyse won Miss Photogenic in 1980. No surprises there.
Delyse had a great bone structure that really lent itself to editorial and great makeup, and she had strong jaw and great cheekbones.
The girls who get in front of the camera the most will be the ones that are seen. Let me in. I'm from New Zealand. I'm the furthest country in the south of the world. So Delyse would barge in like the little fox terrier, and she did it.
All the girls sort of knew who was up for Miss Photogenic, and they all knew it was between myself and Miss Australia. And they were all coming up to me saying, "Oh, we hope you win, we hope you win." And I thought, "Oh no, I'm not going to win. I'm never going to win that, don't be stupid." But I did. But I remember she had her mum there in the audience, and I could see her mum leaning forward, as if to say, "My daughter's going to win." And I'm thinking, "Yes, she probably is." But she didn't. We trounced the Australians.
Delyse just had a unique way of sort of owning the stage. I guess it was to do with her early training in dancing.
She had obviously the figure, blonde hair, just everything that probably was wanted back then.
I remember being given a couple of car registration plates because my dad collected them at the time. They were presented to me by the Mayor of Seoul, and as a thank you, I just decided to sing Pokari Kari Ana. And but looking back now, I'm thinking, did I really do that? Did I actually stand up there on stage and just sing as a thank you to the people of Korea? I must have been mad.
The thing about Delyse is she has never, ever failed to do her best and be her best at anything that she's tried.
Daryl, he was wanting to be a dress designer.
I told her I want to be a designer, and I showed her what then must have been some very bad sketches of dresses.
He was only 12 at the time, and apparently I was really, really encouraging to him because he would have given up his dream. And he said it wasn't until he spoke to me and I spoke to him about him following his dream that he actually decided that he would do.
Sometimes as adults, not children, but as adults, we can diminish someone just because we want to be honest. Delyse was very open and uplifting, and you've got to keep trying, you've got to get training. Sure. She wasn't saying this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Instead, what she was saying was, you've got to take this talent forward.
I was very proud wearing the New Zealand sash. people didn't really know where New Zealand was when I entered in 1980. And I felt that New Zealand hadn't even been thought of as a proper contender.
Next to join the group is Miss New Zealand.
When I was named in the top 12, I just couldn't believe it. I came running down the steps. God knows how I didn't fall flat on my face.
We were all on edge, just thinking, please, go for it, New Zealand. And she was so poised and so professional and so gorgeous. We were so proud.
I think the whole of New Zealand was wishing for her to win this competition, and I knew the results before I went home.
Dad had heard the results on the radio in the morning, and he always seemed to know what was going to happen next.
Neil's eyes would be watching the competition, and his eyes are as big as saucers.
You're just bowled away by the moment. Everything just happens so quickly that you don't really get a chance to even get nervous.
What would you say to a friend who asked your advice about entering the Miss Universe pageant?
I would say it would be a great opportunity if you could go in it, because you have the chance to meet so many girls from so many different nations. You have the chance to become friendly with them, learn a lot about these girls, and also you represent your country, and that's the most important thing.
Please let me go further, please. But not really believing that I would.
The second runner-up is Miss New Zealand. Well done.
So proud for my country, because it was just such a big deal. It had been nearly 20 years since anyone had got anywhere near winning a major title, so I was just over the moon. Just couldn't believe it.
I've seen photos of her. She looks amazing. She's actually timeless, but she's wild.
I'll definitely carry on modelling. Why not? Why shouldn't we model in our 60s, 50s, 40s?
Every New Zealand girl wanted to look like Delyse. And I believe now every 60-year-old would love to look like Delyse.
I've worked with Delyse before, and I'm just blown away by how beautiful she is.
Delyse was always my head girl, my head model. So beautiful, and still is at 61.
She looks mint.
As the winners jetted off to their international competition, they packed their bags with their designer ball gowns, made exclusively for them by top New Zealand designers.
Kevin Bachan designed my evening gown, and we worked together on it and just what would be the right look, what I wanted, and we just went for something simple and elegant.
I will never forget that gown.
Shooting the Kevin Bachan dress again after 35 years was really cool.
I rang up Linda and I said, go and find the dress in the box in the garage. And she said, are you joking? And I said, no, we don't muck around with things like this.
Squeezing into it, it's a bit of a tight fit, but it was good. It brought back a lot of memories, which is nice.
And she came down and I thought, oh my God, she got into it and she looked absolutely amazing.
It took me back to 1986.
It was very fine wool with mother of pearl sequins around the neck and the cuff. And when I walked at the knee, there was an inverted pleat with a bow at the top. And every time you kicked your left leg out, it would kick through.
When Lorraine walked out in that blue dress, 1983, epitomised with that big hair, that cobalt blue dress and the bow.
We all loved a good bow in the 80s, particularly on the back. And when Lorraine spun around and we saw that magnificent bow, we just knew it was the dress we all wanted.
The navy was such a great colour choice because it's softer than black.
And then when she came out, and she was that true New Zealand friendly, she acknowledged the child, the only one that did, and she had our hearts forever.
All I'm going to say is that it was just so reminiscent of the 80s. The combination of the fabric, the detail, the design, her hair, the full ball gown, the lace gloves. I loved it. At that age, at 19, I was just thrilled.
The hair was something else.
You know, I probably decided to tease my hair up even more to match the dress. We all were in frou-frou dresses, except Julie, Miss USA. She was in the very sophisticated, sleek beaded Bob Mackie number.
I kind of love a bit of frou-frou.
But the rest of us were in the big frou-frou dresses.
To me, Lorraine was a combination of a young Kim Basinger and Cheryl Ladd mixed. She kind of had the look for that year, that moment.
Everyone had fluffy, pretty, white and pink and pale blue dresses, and I felt my dress was just nice, just lovely, perfectly plain, black and simply cut.
Probably if I had chosen the dress, I wouldn't have chosen black, but it did actually make me stand out because people don't wear black in contests. So it was quite a timeless design as well. It wrapped over.
Well, it is petrifying when your gown still isn't completed. And I remember doing the practice run and my boob fell out on the stage. And I actually cried and I was like, this is not going to be finished. And I hated my gown.
But if I could do it again, I would have worn something that was more to my taste.
I was actually pretty happy with all my costumes, actually.
I think it's really, really hard coming from New Zealand sometimes because we don't have things that are that glamorous. And to be able to find someone to design something so stunning made me feel like I deserved to be on that stage next to all of the girls from countries that just create the most incredible gowns.